Hello, everybody. Episode 4, Sports Spectator Podcast. We are back, John and Juan. It's Monday evening right now, October 16th. What a weekend of football. What a weekend. I'm sitting here right now, privileged enough to be watching the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football, for better or for worse, during the podcast. How you doing, Juan?
Dude, I am feeling good, man. Oh, what a weekend in sports. Honestly, today has just been great. It's getting cool in Miami. We're finally really getting into the season of football. We're starting to get a good picture of, who's the real teams, who are the frauds, and that playoff picture is starting to come together, baby. But yeah, lots to talk about today. But overall, feeling good, man. Feeling good. How are you? Talk to me.
I'm doing good. The Dolphins are definitely not one of those fraudulent teams. And I love the fact that, it feels like real fall in Miami right now. I was just at Tap 42. Shout out to Tap 42. One of the best burgers in Miami, in my humble opinion. And it's a chain. Prohibition Burger on Fleek Mondays. We have half off burgers. And I was there for a 2-for-1 special this evening. The burger was the one special. The other special was Duncan Robinson was slinging cocktails at the bar of this restaurant for like a promotional event. It was nuts. My wife told me about it, and I was like, I really don't want to go out, but a burger and the opportunity to see Duncan Robinson, wow. He gave us a shout out on a video. I got a picture with him. Dude's a G. Dude's a baller. He's going to knock down a record amount of threes right now. He's gonna get his all-time high threes this regular season and postseason coming up, served on a platter. So, I was hyped about that. That was right before this podcast. And pumped to be here now.
Dude, that is incredible. And I got to say, as soon as I saw the picture, the wave of envy that came over me. I mean, dude, just two legends talking to each other. I mean, you're obviously a soccer legend here in Miami. He's obviously a legend in the basketball paint. I think it's a big controversy out there. Which one of you guys has impacted South Florida more? It's still up for debate. It's like LeBron, Jordan, and then it's John and Duncan Robinson. I mean, and we, you know how it is. Everyone gets real heated about that debate. I gotta go with you, John. You're my boy, so I'll support you in that argument. But man, I was starstruck just seeing the picture. I mean, just how was it, man? Like, how was Duncan? Like, what did you guys talk about? Obviously,
Dude.
You guys have the connection of sports, and you guys also are both amazing podcasters. So, like, what did he say, man? I'm very curious. Let's tell the fans.
I'll be completely honest here. I was starstruck. I was super shy and nervous. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, man, he's super nice. Was really nice and super chill. I mean, yeah, he was laid back, hanging out. I was the only nervous person there. He would have definitely had a conversation with me, but I'm not gonna front. I was nervous, but I got the pick, and you guys will see the video of him shouting out the Sports Spectator. So shout out to you, Duncan, and thank you, and
Dude,
thank you to it was sick, man.
So you said he was slinging cocktails. Anything that he made? Is he as good of a bartender as he is a basketball player?
Honestly, yeah, I think so. If he didn't make the drink that I had, it was fire. It was like a strawberry mezcal kind of drink. I enjoyed it. So, yeah, he's a good bartender. Can confirm.
Dude, incredible. Confirmed by the Sports Spectator podcast. Elite defender, elite playmaker, and elite cocktail maker. We love to see it. Big fans of Duncan here on the pod.
For sure, man.
All right, man. But yeah,
but what about you? You had a weekend yourself. You were in South Carolina, right?
I was indeed, man. A little bit of an away game. Florida at South Carolina. Definitely think it's worth mentioning. Obviously, we mostly touch on Miami teams, but I think everyone here is pretty well aware. John is a Alabama alumni. I am a UF alumni, so I think it is safe to say we are also big fans of SEC football. And I got to be honest with you, man. First and foremost, incredible game. Not going to get too much into the details of the game itself.
But that game was lit.
It was lit. But man, crazy comeback by the Gators. I mean, that fourth quarter in that stadium was just absolutely riveting, man. It was so crazy, man. It just felt like a movie. The third quarter, Gators started losing. A lot of people started leaving, man. A bunch of fair weather fans that,
wow.
yeah, a lot of them started leaving. They thought it was over, but me and the crew, we stuck around. We're like, well, hey, we're having fun, but we still kept hope, bro. And that fourth quarter comeback was insane. I started crying. Everyone around me was like crying tears of joy. Like I was looking, I screamed at people. We did it, guys. We did it.
Wow.
As if like we were there on the sidelines, like calling calls. It was,
I mean,
it
you
was
guys were there.
incredible.
You guys were part of the team.
Dude, basically.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I was at a batch in Brickell watching that game. We watched pretty much probably from the second half to the end. And there were some Gators fans in front of us at the bar. They were down so bad. I think they were making bets to the game too and just getting like rocked. But they stayed the whole time, and they went through like the lowest low all the way to like to the highest high. It was an awesome, probably one of the best football games of the weekend, honestly, for college at least.
Oh, dude, it was sensational. But hot take, and I fully apologize. I don't know if we have South Carolina fans listening to the pod, but if you are listening, welcome. And I'm sorry for what I'm about to say next, but South Carolina has one of the quietest stadiums that I've ever attended.
Wow.
I got to be honest, Columbia, South Carolina, great game day environment. We had awesome weather. Obviously, South Carolina, you got the Southern hospitality. The tailgating was fantastic. Talking to the fans on the South Carolina side, super fun, super nice people. The stadium also very chill. But I was really, really surprised at how quiet it was for the most part. They really only ever got loud when it was a third down and we were on offense. But other than that, for the most part, it was incredibly quiet. And I feel like for me, when I've attended games in the Swamp, it is loud every down. It doesn't matter if we're offense, defense, we are loud. And John is a Bama fan. I'm sure in Bryant-Denny Stadium, it's probably loud, literally from, first quarter to last quarter.
Yep. So that's interesting. So it's what, like it was just like a reserve, because it's funny because I've heard that stadium like get pretty high regard, but you called it fraud right there.
Yeah, man. It's I feel like as the home team, you're sort of like the 12th man there. You got to make as much noise as possible to disrupt, the team coming into your house and trying to beat you. And I'll say it. Probably if the team would have been a little bit louder, I'm not sure how the game would have ended. But yeah, I was very surprised that for majority of the game, I was able to talk to people next to me. At the Swamp, when the Gators are at home, you can't do that. You are loud the entire time. That's probably my only critique. Nonetheless, incredible venue. We had an absolute blast. Again, SEC football, it just really, really, it's hard to beat. But what does beat SEC football is probably Miami Dolphins football, baby. What do you think, John? I got a lot of stuff to get into. I got a ton of notes here. I'm going to spit out a lot of amazing facts, but I want to get your take. I know, John, you were at the game. I want to hear about it, man. You had incredible seats. Let's tell the fans, how was it, man?
It was awesome. It was my first Dolphins game experience, my first Hard Rock Stadium experience. And my wife got free tickets from a friend who's a cheerleader. So huge, gigantic, absolute, total shout out and thank you to them. Because, yeah, it was sick. Row 13, the people that sat in front of us, the people that sat to the left of us, people that sat to the right of us, behind us, everyone, immaculate vibes, no problems. Concessions on point. They had the beer selections just were like endless. Food was pretty good. And I loved it. We had shade for like the first half. And then the sun started coming over. That was pretty crazy. I was watching I forget, I'm not good with my directions, but one of the sides of the stadium was just like baking in the sun. And it was nuts just watching them. And it was just like beating down on them the entire time. But yeah, it was awesome. One thing I didn't know until I was at the stadium is the Miami Dolphins #1 song. When you posted that reel of ours, I thought it was kind of like a trolling song. That is the real song. It is legit.
Yeah, dude, it's a banger. Miami.
It is a banger.
Dude, it goes in. And yeah, they'll play it. I know exactly what you mean. That's funny, man. I didn't. Now you're really getting integrated into Dolphins football.
It was awesome. I had an amazing time. So can't wait to go back.
So, John, I got to ask, man, because obviously you were there and you got to witness not one, but two of your school's QBs light it up. Obviously, you got to see Bryce Young. Obviously, Tua both had incredible careers at Bama. Please share with me, as a lowly Florida fan who has not had the pleasure of witnessing that, how was that, man?
It was sick, especially when we were up 14-0. It was like, it wasn't too shocking for me because I was like, I'm a fan, right? But I'm not like diehard Dolphins fan, right? Everyone, I need to be honest, right? I'm watching the Cowboys right now. So I was like, yo, Bryce Young, he's up 14-0. This is pretty cool. So it was nice to see him battle. But then you just knew, and the whole stadium knew. It's like a moment, only takes a moment, and then the Dolphins are going to be back, like streamlining. And so it was cool. I was glad I got to see Bryce play some pretty good snaps, and but I also got to see Bryce just get smoked. He got lit up a couple times. It was nuts seeing him because I think I talked about it in one of the other podcasts. He's small in the NFL, and then when you see him in person, you're like, damn, bro, this guy is extra small in this NFL ratio.
Damn. I got to be honest, that is a hot take coming from you because I don't know if I could ever say that about any Florida QB that would ever make it in the league. I would be ashamed, but man, he's got to be real small then in that case. And bro, yeah, I saw a couple of plays where the defense just absolutely took him out.
Yeah,
Poor
man,
guy,
it's
bro.
scary.
Yeah,
it's scary. It literally looks like, I look at him, I'm like, that's literally me out there. I mean, like, for real. I'm like, I literally see myself as him out there. So yeah, man.
You just relate at a very personal level to an NFL overall #1 pick.
Oh yeah, Heisman Trophy. When I'm like, yo, that's me.
That's me. That's me. He's
in an alternate universe. I'm out there and he's right here.
Yeah,
So we're boys like that. But it was sick. But yeah, Tua just on another level, elite. Tua 5K. Come on,
dude. That is incredible, man. I mean, you definitely had quite the week. The game got to go for free. Had incredible seats. Meeting Duncan. Just absolutely killing it, baby. Look at you.
Blessed.
Love to see it. But on the topic of the game, man, I mean, so much to dissect on this. First thing I got to go throw out there. So like I said, playoff picture coming together. No talking head, no media outlet, I think, had the Dolphins coming into the playoffs. Again, nobody had that on their bingo scorecard. And now people are starting to say, like, oh, maybe Dolphins can squeak into a wild card round. It's like, no, screw that. I'm saying it right now. We're getting best record in the AFC. We're getting first round bye. I'm saying it right now. We are playing at just an elite level. I wish there was a better word to describe it. Just absolutely killing it. I mean, right now, 5-1, currently tied for best record in the NFL. Only the Dolphins and 4 other teams currently hold that status. Obviously, those other teams being the Lions, the Bills, the Chiefs. No, sorry, not the Bills. The Lions, the Niners, the Philadelphia Eagles. I already said and the Chiefs, of course. I think I might have screwed up that list, but whatever. Anyways, I'm just that ecstatic about the fact that we're 5-1, best record tied for the best record in the NFL. So I got a lot of notes here, so I'm gonna name off a few. First and foremost, Tyreek, another incredible game. Here's a fun fact for you, bro. How far do you think Tyreek is at this moment from 1,000 yards? Just take
this season so far.
Guess. Yeah, week 6 obviously is in the books. How far do you think he is from 1,000 yards? If you had to guess,
I'm gonna guess he's over 900 right now.
Over 900. Okay, that's a little generous. He's not quite there. He's not quite there yet. He's almost at 900 yards. In fact, he is at 186 yards away from reaching 1,000 yards. So again, maybe to other folks that might be listening and maybe some of those metrics don't click, but the fact that he's pretty much at that number at only week 6 is just absolutely unheard of. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, basically he's right now on pace to potentially break 2,000 receiving yards. And I mean, this offense is just, it is firing on every single piston. I mean, this is a heavy duty V8 engine where every single thing is going absolutely right. I mean, running backs are clicking, wide receivers are clicking, and I feel like every single week, the Dolphins are just the team to watch. And I'm just trying to really bask in this high, in this moment, because having to have watched so many garbage Dolphin teams, I mean, the Tannehill years, the Cutler years, the Jay Cutler years, the Fitzpatrick years, which actually he was kind of decent, the Brock Osweiler years, um, the Brissett year that we had to witness last year, and just finally getting this team. Again, I'm just trying to still take it all in. I mean, just absolutely ridiculous. Talking about amazing quarterbacks, going back to Uno QB1. So Tua, actually, this was actually a crappier game for him, and kind of want to break that down for a second. He ended up throwing. I can't remember the exact number right now. I think it's 151 yards on 14 for 19. Had a QBR of 131 finishing the game. But here's the crazy part. He's had such incredible games already that game, 150 yards, 14 for 19, is considered now an average game for him. Before, I would have killed to have the Dolphins quarterback have that stat line consistently. And now he's just doing so well that when he puts up that number, 2 touchdowns, 151 yards, 14 for 19, 131 QBR, no interceptions. Now I'm just like, oh, Tua had a decent day. That's just how elite he is. And again, still the favorite for MVP. Just holy cow, absolutely ridiculous. But here's another stat for you. Now, if you had to guess, John, how many teams right now, if you had to give me a number, how many teams do you think have at least 11 touchdowns?
How many teams have at least 11 touchdowns? Oh man, I'm not good with math. So I'm going to guess the number's low. So I'm going to go with 7.
So it's less than 12. Less than
Okay.
12 teams. So yes. So you were right, technically.
Nice.
Here's why I wanted to bring that up. So Raheem Mostert. So again, he has RB1 duties with A-Chain being out. Again, had an incredible game this past weekend. But this freaking guy put up 11 touchdowns. Or sorry, to date, after week 6, he now has 11 touchdowns, which is more than 12. That's not 12. 12 NFL teams put together. I mean, let's just take a second to think about that. Like, how fucking bonkers that is that this one individual has scored more than 12 other billion-dollar professional sports organization. And again, that's still with Tyreek putting up the numbers that he's putting up. Other running backs, A-Chain, putting up the numbers that he's putting up. Everyone is just absolutely feasting. Again, if you were one of the guys that drafted all Dolphins players during your fantasy football draft as a joke, you probably seem like the smartest guy in the room now. Everyone's looking at you like, what was this guy cooking? Like, what did he know that other people didn't know? I mean,
dude, I was at the game, and I think it was the fourth quarter, and I sit over to the guy next to us, and I'm like, yo, look at my fantasy team, bro. And I showed him I had Tua, Raheem, and Jalen Waddle. I'm like, look at this, bro. He's like, I don't play fantasy, but nice, man. I was like, thanks, dude. But bro, it's like, it just goes to show like how elite the team is, and how the balance of a pass game and a run game, like the dividends it plays. Because obviously, of course, like both players are great. Tua maybe the better of everybody, right? As far as like the MVP candidacy, but like the fact that the team can run like that with Raheem and throw with Tua, it's just like if you went to an NFL NBA, the Miami Dolphins weeks 1 through 6 would be a case study on just like performance and high level, like offensive power. It's awesome.
Dude, that's I love that comparison. I mean, a case study. Yeah. No.
NFL,
I love that.
NBA.
I love that. Yeah.
Are we going to make that college? Who wants to be our professors?
Yeah, exactly. If anyone wants to interview us, anyone wants to get a free thesis for their MBA or whatever, I'm sure we'd be happy to talk to you guys about it. But yeah, no, just absolutely. I mean, they are like the Amazon of NFL teams right now. And again, I want to emphasize for anyone who hasn't realized this yet, but the Dolphins still are not at full capacity. Jalen Ramsey is still not back. I'm not 100% sure if Armstead played this game, but again, he suffered an injury during the Bills game a while back. I'd actually have to go back and double check if he did play. But again, if he didn't play, he would be coming back. So most likely we'd have all of our key players come December, January time. Again, that's season ending. You're looking at playoffs now. Once we have everybody healthy, I don't think anybody is doing anything to the Miami Dolphins. So,
Yep. Was Jalen Phillips back also, or is he still out?
I believe he did play this game, but I think actually he did not play this game. I take that back. He was on the sidelines. And actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. The only reason I remembered that was because there was a video that I saw on Twitter where apparently Zach Sealer went up to him and he was wearing just, these like super Gucci glasses, not Gucci brand glasses. And he went up and asked him like, "Hey man, are those Adidas?" And Jalen Phillips just looks at him like, "Adidas? Like, what are you talking about?" And he's like, No. You don't know about this brand, bro. And Zach Sealer, who just he became like a guy's guy as soon as I saw that video. He was just like, "Oh, you." I think he was talking to Mostert actually, just asking him like, "Hey man, do you think I could get that swag like Jalen has?" And they just told him like, "Hey, Zach, you're a football guy. You're a great football player, but you and like that level of drip doesn't mix." And he was just like, "All right, man. Like, I appreciate the honesty.
Thanks for the
Like,
feedback.
thanks for the feedback." But no, that's an excellent point. Yeah, it looks like Jalen Phillips didn't play, and again, putting on a pounding. Now, granted, the Carolina Panthers obviously came into this game 0-5. I don't think really anyone had them winning. But hey, we put in the bet that Dolphins were going to cover the spread. Dolphins money line, both of those hit. Hopefully, you're keeping up with our bets. But my next point is we still dominated them. I think when it comes to, when you're the better team on paper and you're playing against the not as good team, you can't just win those games. You have to dominate those games. And again, the fact that we came back from a 14-point deficit and just put up the sheer amount of points on them as we did, again, just different. I mean, we'd be sitting here all night if I had to say like every single amazing thing that came out of this game. I'll probably finish off by saying that Mike McDaniel, not only is he an incredible head coach, but dude, he was wearing the swaggiest Air Force Ones, just like super clean. I mean, this guy's as much like an a fashion genius as he is an offensive genius. I mean, the guy is drip god, absolutely. And I mean, life just doesn't get better than this, man. Life is good. Life is good. And to kind of conclude a little bit on the Miami Dolphins, going back to a previous amazing Dolphins team. Now, this weekend, with both Philadelphia and the Eagles, they were the last two undefeated teams in the league. Both of them having lost this weekend. Now, once again, the Miami 1972 Dolphins team continues being the only absolute perfect team. And that's always an accolade that, when I saw it, because it happens every season. Like, once the last undefeated team goes down, everyone on Dolphins Twitter talks about like, hey, the 72 Dolphins continue their streak. And I swear to God, for the longest time, I hated that was the only accolade that we could brag about every season. Like, bro, 1972 has been over 50 years ago. Like, at this point, like that cannot be the only thing we continue celebrating. But again, just to kind of conclude the conversation, breaking down the Dolphins this week, like I was like, nice, man. I'm glad we get to keep that in. The only reason I felt that way was just because we're so good right now that I was like, hey, not the only thing we get to brag about this season. Finally.
Yeah, finally. It is a good accolade though, but I can imagine through your pain and suffering, it's kind of like being at the bottom of like a barrel. Like you're like a rat in like the thing of cheese where it's like you're just losing every season and like they just dangle it over you like we had this once.
Yeah.
Once we had this. But finally, yeah, like you said, now it's coming back. So shout out to us.
We just got to see upcoming next upcoming game is against the Eagles. And again, we lost against the Bills. I still think that was a BS game. We were playing them at home on their turf. And again, like I said I think it was not last week's episode, but the episode or whatever episode we had before we played the Bills. I said, again, it's fine womping the shitty teams and like putting up crazy numbers against them, but you have to beat the good teams. So we have the Eagles, and then at some point we also play the Chiefs in Germany, by the way. So honestly, to me, if we can very clearly dominate, I'm fine if we don't win both of those games. I obviously would love to win both of those games, but I have to keep my expectations like a little bit realistic. And I only say that as a somewhat still pessimistic Miami fan, in that Miami used to find ways to get me really high, and then in the games that matter would always take me down. So as long as we can beat at the very least one of those two teams in the regular season this season, I'm thinking playoffs. I'm thinking conference championships. If we manage to beat both of them, I'm thinking soupy, like soup season, baby. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, man. The Eagles game is going to be crazy. 8:20 p.m. Eastern kickoff in Philly. If you're a Dolphins fan going to that game, be careful. Be careful.
Yeah, man.
Those people are crazy.
Philly's dangerous right now. I mean, right now, the Phillies killing it in the playoffs. So that's going to be, they're just going to be very, very, very high energy. Obviously, the Phillies knocked the Marlins out of the playoffs. So yeah, I definitely think if you are a Miami Dolphin fan going to that game, you are well behind enemy lines.
Yeah.
And best of luck to you. But oh man, am I jealous if you're going to that game.
And they're coming off of the loss to the Jets with Zach Wilson. So it's kind of like it's obviously not a trap game because the Eagles are a fantastic team. But the Eagles coming off a disappointing loss, that's makes it even tougher almost, don't you think? Like, they're going to be extra motivated. They know they're a good team. They know the Dolphins are a good team. They're going to be at home. So I don't know, man. It's going to be a tough one. But I agree with you.
It's going to be a tough one. But again, have faith in Mike McDaniel. As long as we keep playing the way we've been playing, again, offensive line has been incredible. Probably the brightest spot that I've genuinely been very pleased to see has been really, really dominant. So again, as long as we keep that up, I think we should be fine. But man, that D-line on the Philly side, Jalen Carter, who's been just an absolute stud this season. It's going to be fun. I think regardless, it's going to be a fun one, and I'm hyped. But yeah, that's going to be a good test for us. But yeah, man, enough Dolphins talk. Let's talk a little bit about some news that broke today, which was the Miami Marlins not signing Kim Ng, who was an executive that they got at the start of the season, was very, very historic as a hire. And obviously she was a big reason that the Marlins went to the playoffs. And now they've let her go purely for the reason, and this is the part that I legit, when I was reading about this, couldn't believe. They let her go purely for the reason that they just couldn't afford her.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard that it was an option and she didn't take it. But did you hear that she got that the Marlins didn't want to sign it?
That is my understanding. That it was a bit of a money issue. I mean, obviously, who knows what went behind closed doors during that conversation. But if it really was the fact that the Marlins just simply didn't want to pay her,
I hope that's not the reason. I really hope not.
Yeah, I hope that's not the reason either, because it's just like, if it's a money thing, it's just like, bro, like, what do you mean?
Money.
Like, just give them money. But I mean, like,
bro, why don't you have more money?
I mean, seriously.
Just get it.
Yeah, just get it. It's just like, what's the problem, bro? And I feel like the Marlins always do this. Like, we'll develop good talent, whether it's like front office, or whether it's players, and then they just end up leaving. So it's just like, what's the idea here, guys? Like, is it just continue having a team that will barely make it to the playoffs, as like the lowest seed and then get knocked out in the first round every year and like and that's it. And then anytime something good gets going, just kind of be like, I don't really want to pay for that. I don't understand it. Like, I can't make sense
Dude,
of it, man.
when you say that, I'm like, I hope it's not true, but it's also like super reasonable for it to be true. Because one of our first episodes, I was doing some research, and they had like the different rankings for like the cap space of like the MLB, and like it might have been like since the Marlins inception, but I want to say something like 90% of the seasons they've been like the 20th or worse, like highest paid. So like, the least
Yeah.
salary paid in the MLB. So I wouldn't be surprised, but I hope it's what I've been hearing is that she had her option to extend and didn't take it, in the thought that she probably has like a better offer on the table, like a Yankees or like a Dodgers kind of organization, which still sucks because, like you were saying, she still left us. Um, but I mean, hey, there's a great opportunity to pick up the pieces for a new GM. Hopefully, we can get someone that's an equally as good hire. It's not going to be as equal. She's a beast. But hopefully, that someone can keep us on the right trajectory because we've got a good roster. I mean, it's set up nicely, and first year coach getting into the playoffs. So fingers crossed. But yeah, not good news to get today.
Dude, absolutely, man. And I mean, it's funny that you bring up the stat about us having, on average, like paying players like the lowest. Because I remember one time I bumped into, just like a fun fact on Twitter, during the Marlins season, and two actually that I saw that really stuck out to me. The first one being, now again, I don't know if this is true. It just popped into my head as you were mentioning that, but at the time, the Marlins were the only franchise in Major League Baseball that were not worth at least $1 billion. Now, again, that might have changed at this point. Again, it might, the Marlins might have actually gone up in value and they might have actually crossed that threshold. I would be very surprised if they hadn't. But yeah, I remember even at that time, I'm just like, bro, what? Like,
Bro, why don't you guys get more money?
exactly. But it's just like, it's just so crazy to me because, here in Miami, like Latinos love baseball. Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Dominicans, which, there's very, very big number of those here in South Florida. Like, I just sincerely don't understand how as a baseball franchise, it's so hard for you to capitalize on that. Like, you don't even necessarily, like, even when the team's mediocre, like they'll still go watch the game. So I find it very difficult as to like what the end game is here. But again, I'm not a general manager. Marlins, I mean, if you want to hire me to kind of give a little bit of consulting, I'm happy to provide my hourly rate. See if we can get something going. But again, I'm real puzzled as to what the Marlins are doing. But I'll be cheering for them when the season starts anyway. So
Yeah,
it is what it is.
unfortunately, just from like my minimal understanding and what you've said, like it seems like one of those organizations that, you know, I don't want to compare it to this team, but it's the best one I can do it with like the Washington Commanders, like the old Redskins teams, where
Oh yeah.
they're kind of just on like maintenance mode because they know simply by existing, and especially for what you said, like the market they exist in with Miami and like the trajectory that Miami's on as a city, if they can just sit on it, it's literally going to accumulate value each season they hold it. And they got a sick stadium. It's got a great location for Miami. I mean, listen, it's obviously not the best location in Miami, but in regards to like the map of Miami, it's one of the most center stadiums, right? I guess besides the Kaseya Center, but so yeah, maybe in the near future someone comes in, swoops that organization up and brings it back to the promised land. I don't know. Maybe that's the next best thing to hope for.
Dude, it's a business at the end of the day. I mean, we saw it with the Dolphins. Again, so many years of mediocrity was a lot due to, Stephen Ross, the owner, just not necessarily wanting to pay for the talent. Again, something eventually clicked that it was like, we can't continue winning on like mediocre. And again, no offense to any of these guys that played on the previous teams. I mean, we had a lot of talent, but again, we were still a lot of pieces away. So again, not wanting to pay some of the stellar players that would be, on the market. eventually something clicked, and we decided like, hey, if you want to win, you got to spend money to make money. So again, decided to get Mike McDaniel, give him a nice contract, get Tyreek Hill, get Jalen Ramsey, and like winning attracts winning. So as all of these players were coming, again, now we're seeing the fruits of all of those labors actually begin to appear. So yeah, again, I don't understand the Marlins. You know, we give away all of our good players, we develop them, then we trade them for like cash considerations, basically. And then do
Bitcoins.
what? Don't sign good players in free agency. Again, you know, I've obviously never ran a franchise, but I feel like, you know, the Marlins could really do a better job.
Dude, speaking of that and the Dolphins like paying players, I have to say, I had a flashback. I saw a jersey at the stadium at the Hard Rock. Reggie Bush. I forgot he played for the Dolphins. He had his best 2 seasons of his career at the Dolphins.
You're right. I forgot about that, man. Dude. Yeah, we've actually had some decent talent. Yeah, I forgot he did that. Dude, what a throwback.
What a throwback. It was a sick jersey. That's one of the coolest things about going to like sporting events is like the jerseys that you see. You just see such cool, like random jerseys, but some really, really cool ones.
Dude, that's definitely a guy. Like you see a guy wearing a Reggie Bush jersey at a Dolphins game. That's either a guy, he's probably the nicest person that you would ever meet, or just a guy that if you look at him even slightly incorrect, like he's gonna full on open field tackle you and take you down. Like I don't think there's any in between with someone choosing to wear that at a Dolphins game, honestly.
Yeah, dude. My other favorite one I saw was like this like highlighter orange Ryan Tannehill jersey. I'm like, that one. He's like, you didn't want to move on from that one. You really want to hang on to that one.
Honestly, respect. I was the biggest Tannehill believer for a while because, oh my God, he would always have these like flashes of brilliance in like one game. And then you're like, all right, maybe Ryan's the guy. Like, and then nope, and then he would just like completely suck for like 4 games straight. It's just like, oh, that's why.
Yeah, RIP to the Tennessee Titans.
Speaking of jerseys, you just reminded me of this, but going back to the topic of the South Carolina game that I attended, bro, there was a guy full on wearing a Florida Gators Aaron Hernandez jersey, and I'm just like, holy crap, dude, this guy's just wearing this in public. There's children here, dude, and I'm just like, that guy's a menace to society. Like, if I bumped into him, I would not be able to say sorry fast enough. And it was funny because, you know, we were both in line. Like, thank God there was like a railing in between us as we were walking into the stadium. You know, and obviously, like, you know how it is. You walk into the games, like you're talking smack, like you see the other team and you're like, yeah, roll Tide, go Gators, like whatever it is. But you know, that's all part of the friendly banter of going to college football games, bro. And some Gamecock fans, they just screamed like, oh, you know, fuck you, Florida fans. Dude, and this guy just like a freaking lion hunting on the savannah, just like turns his head and he's like, what'd you say? I was like, oh shit, dude, the Aaron Hernandez guy's about to do it, dude. He's gonna dude, in the jersey, bro. I was like,
my God.
yo, we're about to witness a murder. Dude. And I think the guys probably recognize the number and they're like, oh, fuck that, dude. We pissed the wrong guy off. So I feel like probably top 3 jerseys that if you see someone wearing at a game, Aaron Hernandez has to be number 1. Probably like an authentic, classic Michael Vick jersey. And maybe a Vontaze Burfict. Like if you see anyone wearing those jerseys, it's just like, yo, you don't mess with those guys.
Dude,
yeah.
Wow. That was hilarious. That's like, imagine that's like one of those guys where let's say you make a new friend, you're like going to a football game and you meet up. This dude's got on an Aaron Hernandez Florida jersey.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm about to go to the football game with this man.
Yeah.
Dude, it's funny because I saw another video on Instagram over the weekend of a guy that had a Patriots one on and was equally as like aggressive and hostile of a person on the street.
Yeah.
Dude, that jersey is just about that action.
It is. Like you just know, like you look at that guy, like you bumped into him, you say anything even slightly incorrect, and like, yo, that's it. Like he has nothing to lose and only things to gain. So Aaron Hernandez guy, wherever you are, I hope you're doing okay. I appreciate you yelling at the South Carolina fans, but I was terrified. I will not lie.
Wow, that was an awesome story. What a legendary jersey. Unreal.
Dude, absolutely. Like, I think that should be considered like a military uniform. Like, you should be allowed to wear that. Like, if we, when we get deployed, for like eventual World War III, that's going to happen sometime within the next year. That's what I'm wearing. I'm like, yeah, baby, what's up?
Dude, instead of like, you know how they have like the platoon badges, like the Band of Brothers were like, I don't know, 101st Airborne? You
Yeah.
just have 81. The AH battalion. Oh my gosh.
Like, Navy SEALs would see that and it's just like, oh, bro, that guy's dark.
That would be the Navy SEAL like elite group. That
Like,
honestly, by the time World War III happens, whenever it happens, the meme, like just capability will be so strong and powerful that probably meme culture will have bled into the military. No pun intended, but right, like literally.
Oh shit.
Literally, dude.
Like, you get taken as like a prisoner of war, and it's just like, oh, the face when you're a POW, or something like that. Like, you're live streaming from like your cell, and it's just like, hey guys, it's day 19. Yeah, I just got shot in the leg. Not sure when I'm gonna get out, but like and subscribe. We're here, guys, gang.
Like, thank you for the roses. Thank you for the roses.
Oh,
yo, we support all of our veterans. We thank you for your service. We're big patriots, big Americans. Thank you.
No, seriously.
You guys have to appreciate this. This is good shit. All the real ones would appreciate this. They know it. They're about that life.
No, they're about it. I mean, you got to laugh about it to a certain extent because there's just so much going on that I feel like if you can't laugh about it a bit, then I think you just get really sad.
Amen.
But
where do we go from there?
Yeah. Talked a lot. Anything happening with Messi, Inter Miami? Anything telling listeners?
Thanks. That's a good reminder. So we have it's our last home game of the season on Wednesday. I don't know what time. It's against Charlotte. Means nothing. But if you want to go, Messi will probably play. He'll probably play just to like give the fans one more showing. But at the same time, he might not. I would say it's like 50-50 chance. But tickets are the cheapest tickets you can get right now for going to a game since Messi's joined. I think the cheapest ones are $60 before fees, probably come down to like $80, $85 after fees. So yeah, if you're interested in going, check it out. But yeah, really not much else. Literally nothing else.
Okay. Now, is it true? I think I saw it. But I know he had international play against Paraguay. And didn't like someone like spit on him supposedly? Is that true?
Wow, I have no idea. They played against did they play against Paraguay?
I'm pretty sure
they played against. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's pretty crazy.
Dude, that's insane. I mean, it's like, bro, how do you do that? Like,
it's like sacrilegious.
Yeah, dude, straight up, bro.
They play, I think, tomorrow night, or you know what? Messi probably won't play because he's on international duty. I think they play tomorrow against Peru. So I think he's still at the squad for that, and I would be very surprised if he ran back to Miami to play against Charlotte in a game that means literally nothing. So yeah, you've been warned. And he just got spit on. He's probably taking some moments to accept that just happened.
Dude, poor guy, man. But I guess that's the price of just being him. Like, he's just him.
He is him.
He is him. Nice, man. Well, I feel like we got a lot to talk in. So let's go ahead and do our recurring segment. And here is our top 5 Miami athletes of the week. Starting off today's list at number 5, we got the Carolina Panthers defense taking the top spot because they managed to make Liam Eichenberg, who is just absolute booty cheeks at offensive tackle, or at least he's been for the past couple of seasons. But somehow the Carolina Panthers, absolute Miami legends, made Liam Eichenberg look elite. 0 sacks and 0 pressures allowed this game. Thank you, Carolina defense. You guys are absolute South Florida legends. Thank you so much.
Big shout out. Big shout out.
Big shout out. Coming in at number 4, we have the phone. So I don't know if you've seen this, John, but when Tyreek scored during this game, literally ran it into the end zone, took someone's phone and recorded himself doing a backflip. So that phone, that iPhone, Android, whatever it is, gets my number 4 spot as top 5 Miami athletes of the week.
That was legendary.
It takes real strength to be able to hang with Tyreek in backflip motion. So shout out to that phone. My number 3 spot, I have my boy, Cole Swider, a.k.a. Swiderman, the guard that we got from the Lakers. This freaking legend playing against Memphis scored 0 points to 3 quarters last week. And that's the game I think you were at, John, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
17 points, all in the 4th quarter. I'm already dubbing him a Heat legend. I'm so excited that we got him. Again, Miami once again proving that we can take these guys and through Heat culture mold them into elite players. Shout out to Cole Swider, number 3 spot.
Dude, Swiderman, legendary nickname for this season too.
Dude, absolutely. Like,
I'm ready to pull up to those games like a Spider-Man mask or something.
Bro, that's probably going to be the move. Like, if he starts popping off, that's probably going to be it. Like, you're going to see people in Spider-Man jerseys. They're going to be doing this number, wearing the mask.
Yeah.
I'm about it. And
Let's go.
Miami loves that.
Yo, it literally has come through everyone in Spider-Man masks and Cole Swider jerseys with the handheld. That'd be awesome.
Dude, I love it. Coming in at number 2, we have Old Faithful, Hard Rock Stadium. After Sunday's victory, it is now it is Miami's best 17-game stretch in that venue since it opened. So I don't know what it is about Hard Rock. I don't know what it is about those Sunday 1 p.m. Suns when we play there. But the Dolphins are just different.
Eek.
So because of that.
Eek.
Yeah. I want to say something. Eek. And this part I cannot emphasize enough. Eek. And go. And taking the number 1 spot this week, a big shout out to our boy, Durham Smythe. Starting tight end for the Miami Dolphins. Yes, that is right. The Dolphins do, in fact, have a tight end that we send out there on a weekly basis. You just really never get to see him just because he's hardly making catches. But boy, is he a freaking elite blocker. The one thing that Mike Gesicki could never do was block. Durham Smythe, happy to be the guy set up the big plays. Now, specifically what made me want to shout him out, I knew he was out there blocking, but he had this incredible play where, again, it was a quick toss to Mostert, and then you just see Durham Smythe literally run to the right. The linebacker, the Carolina linebacker, drills, and Durham Smythe just literally manhandles the guy, throws him to the ground. Easy, 12-yard touchdown from Mostert. Incredible. The guy, just absolute football guy, gets this week's number 1 spot of top 5 athletes in Miami.
That was a good list. Amen. Shout out to Durham, Notre Dame legend. Seems like that was the perfect switch for Gesicki, for him, having someone that's more blocking for Tua, the run game. We got plenty of receiving power. We did not need a receiving tight end by any means.
Dude, Dolphins are, again, elite. And we still have Chase Claypool. I mean, we're just so good that it's just if anyone ever goes down, we still got that guy. Why not? I'm sure Tua will find a way to make him look like generational talent.
Yes. So, where do we go from here?
I think that about covers it, baby. Now we got through through everything. Great week, man. Great week. I mean, I think you definitely had the best week. A lot of fun. Your Dolphins game. Still can't believe you met Duncan. I wonder if he'll come on
Unreal.
the podcast, podcasting legend. But yeah, man, I think that about wraps it up for this week.
Sweet. So, yeah, thank you everyone for watching. This is our 4th episode, 4 weeks now. Can't believe it. Time's flying. We're trying to get better. So, as always, just please talk to us. We want to talk to you. We want to hear from you.
The good, the bad, whatever you want to say to us, we're here to listen.
If you want to come on, someone actually messaged me the other day about coming on. So we're still getting our reps in, but we'll be ready for guests soon.
Yeah, we will be ready for guests.
So yeah, Mike McDaniel, if you're listening,
come
Duncan
dabble.
Robinson.
Come dabble in our good takes, our bad takes, our shitty takes. I definitely have my fair share of bad takes. So feel free to come on.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel can tell us about his dude. Can you imagine how crazy a conversation when it happens? It's gonna happen. We're gonna have Mike McDaniel on. We're gonna be asking him questions about his alien family. Because he's gonna take that. He's gonna run with it. He'll be like,
yes,
I'm down.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine how wild that conversation will get in a good way?
Oh yeah, dude. He's gonna be like, what? I mean, can't really tell you guys. That's intergalactic secrets. Maybe off the record, I can share some stuff with you guys. But yeah.
So until then, our viewers, thank you, and we'll see you next week.
Take it easy, guys.
Peace.